All right, one second. All right. Well, all sorts of issues getting on today. No surprise, OBS is terrible software. Check, check, check. Let's make sure all my stuff is good in here. I just don't understand how OBS has so many issues. Constantly. I just want things to work. What's going on, guys? Kyle, what's going on? We're so back. Yeah, sorry, I was supposed to be on 30 minutes ago. OBS is one piece of software I always have issues with. First, it's saying my CPU isn't working or something. Blah, blah, blah. I have a really great CPU. It's not my CPU. I just replaced my CPU. And then it's like, oh, you have to update your drivers. So I update my drivers. OBS still not working. Finally, I change all my settings and I put it into. I'm streaming in lesser quality than I normally stream to because that's the only way I could get OBS to work because it's just buggy. It's a buggy software always. So I just put it down to lower, and then I try to open YouTube chat. YouTube chat is completely bugged out on OBS right now. It's zoomed in. You can't see what anyone's saying. Everything else, weather-wise, Radar Omega, Windy, TikTok Live Studio, everything else works on my computer. OBS is always issues. Really annoying. All right. No severe weather watch for tomorrow, but maybe day 3. Omaha. I think we'll probably get a categorical tomorrow. Yeah. Probably. All right, let's let some people get in here.
New information. This
Am
severe
I?
thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Hold up, 1 second, guys. Where are the glasses? I'm just too frustrated after everything I just had to deal with to get on stream. I don't even want to put the glasses on. The glasses are when I'm in a good mood. My OBS software is bugging out and it's annoying me. It's always OBS. There's got to be like a Reddit dedicated to how bad OBS is. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm streaming in lower quality than normal because literally OBS doesn't know how to work. So I had to you guys probably can't tell. I can though. You got Weatherwise Pro? Nice. Yeah, they got models in here and stuff now in Weatherwise. Check it out. We got models in Weatherwise. Look at it. It's beautiful. There it is. Crazy. Surface-based cape. Crazy stuff. Not much going on right now, but we're going to talk about what's happening moving forward with fall. I will say, Bryce, what's going on? I will say I do like the Radar Omega update. I checked it out finally. I do like it. The interface is so much cleaner. Look at this. Look how much cleaner this is. All data overlays are right here. I didn't understand why they had a bunch of different things over here before. Much cleaner. Much cleaner. You can also take off all the map symbols like that. That's cleaner. Everything just looks nicer. Everything looks nicer to me. Call me crazy, but I do like the update. But for now, we're still sticking with weather-wise. Radar Omega knew they had to step up their game. Having fun, I appreciate you. 18Z GFS snow, showing big snow in the Rockies. Ooh, we getting some snow out there. We can take a look at that. The green, this is where we have a categorical risk for severe weather right now. 1 out of 5 threat. I don't even think we have a tornado right now. Risk. We do have, though, a tornado watch still up here in North Dakota, but the rest of the areas we're looking pretty good. We're looking pretty good. Let's go take a look. Sure, let's go take a look at move this over. Sorry, I know you guys can't see what I'm looking at. Give me a second. Let's take a look at the GFS. Let's see. I mean, yeah. Okay, so the GFS is showing a hurricane in the Gulf, snow moving in, all sorts of interesting stuff. But, you know, let's be honest here. Let's talk about what's actually realistic. Most of that's a little too far out. Here, let me turn down the volume on this. Sorry. Okay, so let me know if the volume's okay, guys. What's going on, Forecast Fusion? Here we go. Here's the GFS moving forwards. We'll believe it till about 180 hours. Okay, maybe that stuff could happen. But here is where the GFS sees maybe a major hurricane. Major hurricane coming for Houston. Don't worry, this is at the end of the run. Very unlikely to happen. Very unlikely to happen. And then, yeah, it sees some snow returning, some snow moving in to the States. The Euro probably doesn't see this at all, but we'll take a look at it. We'll have to take a look at the Euro 12Z. Again, don't take this too seriously. This is too far out. It's in La La Land. Is the Euro on here going to give me... We'll go on Pivotal. Here we go. Into the 12Z. Precipitation type. All right. Is there a reason this is running slow? Okay, here we go. It is nice. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, you know, I don't know what's going on here, but do you guys see this? It looks like we could get like a tropical depression type thing moving into the coast of North Carolina, Virginia. That thing looks like it wants to go tropical. Very interesting. I mean, it's likely just going to be some rain and light wind, but moving forward in time, our Euro does see a lot of severe weather potential across the plains. And then there's that potential Cat 4, Cat 3, Cat 4 out here that looks to be a fish storm. Still got to watch it though. And then, yeah. So the Euro's not seeing any sort of snow. It does see this low pressure that wants to get going in the Gulf, though, like the GFS does. So we'll watch the tropics for potential formation. Let's see here. Tropical hazard outlook. Let's take a look at this. All right, through the 23rd. Through the 23rd. There it is. Gulf. MDR Tropical Atlantic. No surprise, but Gulf. You do got to watch the Gulf right now. It's very warm. Wait, we do have 1 second. What the heck? Sorry, I just got a weird message. So yeah, we got to watch that. Obviously, the GFS is seeing snow and all sorts of crazy things out here on the 18Z. Don't take this too seriously. Yeah, it's seeing major hurricane moving into the States, but all the way at the end of the run, unlikely to happen, and it does see some snow up there. I do really quickly want to talk, and I'll take some questions. I do want to look at our 12Z Euro and go into temps. And take a look at when we're going to get out of this chokehold of heat that we have across the plains and a lot of the east. Man, the Euro just has this thing holding. Staying hot. Let's take a look at the GFS. GFS brings some nice fall weather into New England and the Mid-Atlantic this upcoming weekend. But then again, just a chokehold of heat across much of the country. Look at this. I mean, we're talking 30 to 40 degrees above average for everyone. This would be record heat. They have this ridge holding. Now, the teleconnections didn't show me that when we were looking at them earlier. Let's go to our Euro Weekly. PNA. I mean, this would suggest hot across the east. And I'm talking from the plains out east. It would. PNA. NAO staying somewhat neutral. Arctic Oscillation staying somewhat neutral. I think we get a cool down last week of September. Big cool down out east. But right now, models are wanting it to stay very, very hot. Quite a change. Quite a change. Last thing I want to look at here. Let's just take a look at why. What's going on? Heights. 500 millibar anomaly. North America. What are we on? 18Z? We don't want to be on the 18Z. 1 second, guys. Why is it staying so hot? Well, we have no blocking out east. We do have a decent amount of warmth, but we're just getting a kind of omega block. Again, this is going to be heat getting trapped down here. Yeah, this jet stream is not friendly to us. Look at this. This is a bad jet stream if you want an early fall, the way it's setting up right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we do have some pretty solid heat for the next couple weeks. It looked like we may. I was looking at my weather app today, and I don't do that much. It looked like we may get a little bit of a cool down in upper Midwest, where I'm in Minnesota next week, but I wouldn't even bank on it. I think it stays well above average. As much as I like the cold weather, and I like to tell you guys it's going to be cold and big cold blasts is coming, I can't lie. This is a bad setup for cold weather, at least for a couple weeks. For pretty much of the states. I mean, the West looks like you guys could get some nice energy moving down here, and we could get some cool weather far out west, though. I'm talking Colorado and west. NTX, I appreciate you, Jasmine, Morgan, Tufts. What's going on, guys? Ah, man. No. No. Give me cold air and snow right now. Give me cold air and snow right now. Like right now. Sadie, what's going on? Blondie said no. You want summer to stick around? Fair. Boca Raton, Florida hurricane possibility. Pretty low right now, but we'll talk about that. Give me 1 second. Oh man. Yeah, you guys want? We can take a look at tropics really quickly. What our models are showing. Global. When will we see snow on Long Island? Too early to tell. I mean, weak La Nina, you typically are colder than average moving into winter, which means, in my educated opinion, I think you have a better chance of seeing early season snow than if, say, we were in a strong La Nina or El Nino. So Now, I don't know what the date is you're going to see your snow, but you're more likely to see early season snow. So, with this type of weather pattern in New England. All right, really quickly, let's look at the North Atlantic. Yeah, no problem, Colin. Here's our storm. Tropical storm, hurricane. Where can anyone tell me where our Bermuda high is? Did it just is it on vacation? Where's our high pressure? I mean, it's here, but you can see these are pretty high heights in between these isobar lines, but still. Sloppy. See, there it is. It's trying to get itself together. There it is. 964, 954, 949, 946. This would be Cat 4 at least. You would think. Getting pulled out to sea. Now, the GFS does have a homegrown major hurricane that wants to move into the Gulf states all the way at the end of the run. So that's not to be concerned. If we're still seeing that 160 hours out, maybe, we'll pay attention a lot more. Well, let's look at a couple runs here. What's our 12Z doing? Same thing, out to sea. We've got a trough digging in here. Not really a low level, upper level trough though, so it's not going to bring us much cold air. That's going to help push it out. Some blocking out here too. So yeah, that's going to go out to sea. Let's take another quick look at our Euro, because our Euro was bringing this in closer, still is bringing it in a little bit closer to the States. A little bit closer. But none to be concerned about. I didn't even check the OZ from yesterday. Yeah, none really to be concerned about in the tropics right now. Very surprising. Very surprising. Even though I'm from New Jersey, it's cold in the west. Could mean a lot of snow in the mountains out there. What are our current conditions out there? Let's take a look. It's pretty cool out there. This is the disturbance we're watching out in the Atlantic right now. 70% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. Although, again, this looks like it's going to be a fish storm, so I'm not too concerned about that. I thought we down in Florida were supposed to expect a much more active hurricane season this year. You typically do. Moving into a La Nina year. But, and your waters are very warm. There's been a lot of shear down there in the Caribbean to kick off the year. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get lucky. With this type of atmospheric setup, they were projecting a pretty active hurricane season. Although I'll tell you this, you could still have an above average hurricane season. Sometimes getting in, the waters are the warmest late September and early October. And we saw what happened last year with Helene and Milton. We had 2 Cat 5s down in the Caribbean and Gulf late September and October after having a very slow start to the season. So, we'll have to see. Amber, what's going on? Snowmageddon. Yali, what's going on? Marissa, Tufts, I appreciate you guys. Got the whole month of October still. Yeah. Listen, there's been some big storms in early November as well. Speaking of that, well, speaking of October, I haven't taken a look at what our seasonal models are seeing right now. Let's do this. Canadian is still seeing a very cold trend for this region. below average for this region over winter. Let's take a look at, here we go, monthly. Let's go to October. Cool. This doesn't mean much, their outlooks, but sometimes you want to see if they agree, and this kind of agrees with the Canadian on where it wants this cold air moving forward, but this is going to change. Not surprised to see this weak La Nina, well below average in the northern plains and upper Midwest. As we get into November, December, and January. No, don't be putting Georgia in the blue. Will Maryland area see another cold front? Maybe not for a while. Well, the East is going to get a little bit of a break. Let's go to our Euro deterministic anomalies. A little bit of a cool down, but this is simply because you have a kind of system moving in off the coast. Oh, let's go back into United States. This is because we got a low pressure system moving in off the coast. Sorry, you guys can't see what I'm talking about. There you go. So, but a true cool down could be a while. Let's look at our 12Z Euro. Sorry, Liam, what's going on? Never been so upset in my life. But I just hope this warm-up means that October is gonna be pure fall weather. A lot of times that's what happens. If you get a big warm streak right before you move into winter, you'll get that cold air. A big buildup of cold air to the north. That will eventually move south. So I wouldn't get too worried with all the hot air before October. That just means there's more cold air building up to the north for later on in the season. 12Z Euro. Let's take a look over there in Maryland. You know, we'll see. The Euro NGFS do have a nice trough digging into the northeast here. Does it get down into Maryland? I don't know. Right now, it doesn't look like it. But that would be a big cool down. So, if it does, September 20th, 21st, so about 7 days out, we'll see. May not make it down. May not make it down. When is heat gone for good? Northeast coast. Gosh, the way this is setting up, we may have to wait till early, the first week of October to stop getting these, you know, to push these 80s out. Where are all the hurricanes? Slow season. We should be happy. Still plenty of time though. We are. These next 2 to 3 weeks are going to be critical with how our hurricane season is going to end. When will it get cold again in Iowa? I mean, it could be a while. Got some below average temperatures maybe as we're pushing into the third week of September, but again, you know, I was showing this earlier, and I'll show you the easiest way to see this. Just look at our jet stream. Let's just look at our jet stream. So, here's what's happening. We've got our jet stream meandering to the north. This is allowing a lot of heat to rise. A lot of heat to rise and settle in. And then again, this isn't a true omega block, but troughing, ridging, troughing. So again, there's nothing keeping this heat from entering, especially the plains and out east. And this jet stream is not moving. I mean, in this jet stream, you can see it starting to dive as we get out towards the end of the run. 27th, 28th. Starts to try to dive down into the states here. This would be, depending on where this enters, this would be potentially a big cold blast for someone. The west, the plains, the east, I don't know yet. But our jet stream's hanging to the north. But again, that's going to cause a lot of cold air buildup up here, and we'll see what that translates into when we get into October, because that could mean a pretty big Arctic outbreak in October. Some people might get some snow in some weird places. What's going on, Sleeveless? All's good. All is good. B, what's going on? Is there a hurricane headed towards California? No. It's very, very, very hard for a hurricane to hit California. Chat, you know why, right? Come on. Why is it almost impossible for a hurricane to make landfall in California? It's not impossible, but nearly impossible. I think, it's happened like, what, once? Or strong tropical storm? Cold water. Shear too, but it's yes, shear too, definitely, but it's mainly the cold water. You got because yeah, you do get a lot of systems moving in off the Pacific. But yeah, you go from the Baja Peninsula, where water's at 80 degrees, to Southern California, where water's at like 68. You can't get any strengthening of a storm if water's below 80, especially if it's below 74. They fall apart right away. So, and remember, in the Pacific, the oceans are rotating clockwise. So, along the East Coast, you have cold water being pulled down from the Arctic, which is why we have along the West Coast, you have cold water being pulled down from the Arctic, which is why the West Coast is desert and the East Coast is, we've got actual like tropical down here in the Southeast, and then contiguous or whatever, because our water rotates off the equator, warm water. Your water rotates out of the Arctic, cold water. So desert, not desert. Ocean currents control all of our weather. That's right, Yali. Someone said it's because of Israel. Oh, Lord. Confused. We appreciate you, Mac. Extremely confused blonde. Slow hurricane season? Yeah, that's an understatement, Nate. What's up, chat? What's up? Prove it, nerd. Yeah. It's very easy to prove when you look at water temperatures. Let's look. Here you go. Let's go to sea surface temperatures. All right. West Coast. Look at our West Coast water temperatures. Now, look at our East Coast water temperatures. There you go. I proved it. There we go. Proved it. And it's the simple fact that water in the northern, or our air in the northern hemisphere and our currents go clockwise. So if you're on the East Coast, you get equator water. We get equator water over here. Nice warm equator water. On the West Coast, you get water from the poles. You get Santa Claus water from the North Pole. So desert, not desert. It's like that, and you could see that in other countries too, where they have their deserts and their dry areas and their less dry areas. Santa Claus water, yeah. Can I talk about Minnesota Shakopee area? Not much happening. Your weather app probably says that you're going to get a cool down this upcoming weekend. We might not get a cool down this upcoming weekend here in Minneapolis Metro. I think the weather app's going to start pulling those temperatures up if you look at it as we move through this week, because our jet stream, as I said, is just not pulling down. When you get this type of pattern, this is heat. Our jet stream's not going to suddenly dip and bring us cooler air. So I think we got a couple weeks of warmth, and at the beginning of October, very end of September, beginning of October, we get a nice cool down. I don't know why my voice is gone. I don't know. What did I do? What did I do? We have a flat earther in chat. I want to hear. Where's flat earther? Do you think the Atlantic will be quiet for the remainder of hurricane season? Again, like if I had to bet on it, I'd say absolutely not. We're probably going to be officially in a week La Nina in the next 3 weeks, which is pretty good for hurricanes. With still close to record warmth in the Caribbean and Western Atlantic, and record warmth in the Gulf. So, no, It's possible. Yeah, all right, I'm Cowboy. Thank you, Jasmine. Did I get it? Sorry, that wasn't very enthusiastic. My voice is like, it's hurting to talk. Do you think it'll snow again in South Mississippi this winter? Southeast typically doesn't see very good winters in a weak La Nina, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. We've had snow in the South in weak La Nina, so it's not impossible. It's just less likely. Okay, good. I had no. I was actually the least amount of enthusiasm I've ever had. Minty and honey. I know. Actually, that's what I need. I wanna be. Oh my god, I didn't know that you're not supposed to eat a ton of cough drops. And I told my wife, there's a couple weeks ago, I bought a bag of like 60 cough drops, and I ate like 40 of them. I was just popping them, and I was telling her, I was driving home from work, and I was like, I feel a little weird, like I feel like dizzy and stuff. And she's like, how many cough drops did you have? I said, almost the whole bag. And then I read the bag, and it's like, have like one every 2 hours. More than that can cause this and that. I was like, oh, I thought it was just like candy that makes your throat feel better. I know. I shouldn't have told you guys that. No one's gonna trust me with no. Like, we trust this guy with weather advice. Dude ate 40 cough drops in an hour, and asked his wife why he felt dizzy. Listen, I know what I know, and I don't know everything else. It's that simple. Anyways, we're looking at our jet stream. Guys, when you see these isobar lines, we're looking at the 500 millibar jet stream right now. Down here at the surface, our pressure is around 1,000 millibars. Up at the top of the troposphere, this is where we live in the troposphere and where all the weather happens. It's pretend it's 0, but it's 100. So the 500 millibar level, we're looking halfway up in the atmosphere that we live in. And the closer that these lines are, isobar lines are to each other, this is the quicker pressure is changing with height. So what that means is, and the faster pressure is changing with height, the more winds you have. The rapid pressure change is what causes winds. So here's all of our isobar lines tightly together, and this is, it's basically like imagine our jet stream is just like, you guys ever watch Finding Nemo, and they go in that like water that's like pushing them through the ocean, and they find the turtle, and the turtle's like, yeah, we take this all the way to whatever. It's like what the jet stream is up in the air. It's just like an air river. And when it decides to dip down, it allows cold air that's trapped above the jet stream to move down with it. But if our jet stream sits up to the north of us, it's just it's like a force field here. There's cold air is not going to pass through this jet stream. It's just not. It's going to stay above it. And when you see a pattern like this where our jet stream's holding north, it's going to be warm for a while. But what that does is this cold air just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. And then eventually the jet stream's going to go south, and there's going to be way too much cold air up there. So the Earth does a really good way of balancing itself out. That's basically the Earth's way of saying, damn, it has been way too hot down here for a while. Time to slam them with cold air to equilibrium. To achieve equilibrium, we need to get back to our average temperatures. From Chaser J, what's poppin'? Goddamn Earth. That's how I feel. Earth is cool. I don't think I'd want to live on any other planet, personally. I'm a big fan of oxygen. You know what I mean? Yeah. And unfortunately of the giants. That does make me want to live on another planet, but that's for another day. Yeah. You think it's cool because you're a nerd? No, that's true. How cool is it, right? When is it supposed to snow? Hey, if the GFS is correct, we could get snow in the Rockies next week. We already got some snow in the Rockies, by the way. The birds once a day, and we saw 20 naders and no one hurt. Yeah, I wanted to get on earlier. My friend was in town this week. My brother just moved up here this weekend, so he's living with me for a little bit until he gets a job and he gets his own place. But I was spending my last day with them. But I was looking. I was like, dang, there's lots of tornadoes right now, man. What are we thinking about Nevada this winter? Weak La Nina's Nevada typically sees colder than average temperatures. I think if you're talking about cold and snow, I'd expect below average temperatures and about average snow for portions of Nevada. Whatever your average is. That's going to be your best bet with the weak La Nina. Best guesstimate. I only looked at one supercell for 7 hours on radar. Yeah, I saw one that was like... Where was it? There was one like... Was it northwestern Nebraska or northwestern South Dakota? Where we had a few tornado warnings there. How long the storm's going to be in Bismarck? That's a good question. I mean, we've got... North Dakota is looking pretty okay. I mean, these are just rain showers moving through Bismarck now. You're looking pretty okay to the north here. My main concern is potentially some of these storms moving off to the east towards Lincoln, Omaha, Sioux City. They've still got a little juice in them. We'll see if they're moving to the east very slow though. But you're seeing some of these you can see starting to flare up here still pretty late. So, but I think overall we're gonna end up most of the severe weather's done for tonight. Yeah, there was 2 supercells that kept dropping tornadoes. North Dakota had 19 tornadoes today. It's like 1 tornado per person that lives in North Dakota. Wind is picking up near Omaha. Yeah, let's look at our satellite here. Here's our, let's see, where's our low? Where's our center low here? Right about here. There it is. So you got that tail pulling right through Omaha right now. Yeah, you should have some pretty gusty conditions outside. This would be a big severe weather setup if this were like spring. Nice low. We've got southerly flow right off record warm Gulf. This would be a big tornado day for Omaha if this were spring, but we don't have the dry line, temperature gradient setup that we would have in spring. Yeah, I do have the best mods. Are you almost ready to do this full time yet? Listen, I don't want to sound bad, but if we had a couple good hurricanes, maybe I would be already. But hurricane season's keeping me from doing this full time because it's doing nothing. But that's okay. I don't wish hurricanes upon anyone. We'll see. I think I gained 55,000 followers last winter, and that's when I started making some income through streaming, and I started pushing it a little harder. So if we have a good winter, I pay for a lot of subscriptions to all the things that I show on stream, and it's really time consuming, and editing and streaming a lot of days. It's it has to be worth it, and hopefully it will be soon. It's what I want to do. It's what I want to do full time. GFS wants to show something in the Gulf in the next 2 weeks. Outside of 2 weeks, Liz. That's why I'm not too worried. The GFS does basically show a major hurricane making landfall in Houston, but it's at the end of the model, which means the odds of it happening are less than 1%. So we're not even worried about that right now. Nice Tufts. It'll grow. It was pretty exponential for me for a while, and it's kind of flattened out, but we've had like probably the most boring 2 months of weather I've ever seen in my entire life in the States. Again, I'm happy people are having nice weather. It doesn't do anything for my channel, though. Nice. I live near Tampa, so Gulf storm stress me out. Yeah, right now you don't got to worry about it. We're watching this one out here. The last time we had a 90% chance out here, I said I 100% guarantee you this is going to be a tropical cyclone, and 24 to 36 hours later, it was gone. Because we had so much dry air sink in. I've never seen that happen before in my entire life. So even though this is 70%, after seeing that, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I will say this, though. Are we having that dry air issue out here? I don't think we are. Let's see. With this one. Satellite. Wait. Oh, here we go. Let's go to Atlantic Basin. And let's go to upper level. No, we don't have that same dry air issue. Now we do have some dry air out here. We have a lot down here, decent amount up here, but it's not gonna be battling that same amount of dry air. Even if we go to the mid-level mid-level water vapor, this is the stuff that's gonna tear up a storm. This is the stuff you've got it should be okay pushing through here. There's not going to be much shear in here. There's shear out here. There's shear out here. There's a little bit of shear down to the south. Again, looking at this, you would think this thing's going to develop. It wouldn't have a problem. I'm in the Texas Panhandle watching the storm from a distance. The lightning is pretty crazy. Oh, going on in, yeah, let's see. Oh, this one right here. Yeah. We got a severe thunderstorm warning there. Let me go back over the weather-wise real quick, actually. Yeah, there it is. Let's take a look here. Radar indicated 1.25 inch hail. Radar indicated 60-mile-per-hour winds. This is moving off to the east-southeast. I don't know. It doesn't look like too fast. 25 miles per hour. I've been terrible at this lately. 20 miles per hour. Okay, that was good. Velocity. Yeah, there could be a little rotation here. We don't have a tornado down, but it's definitely doing some things. But we could have reach up to 2-inch hail too with these cloud tops. Although right now we're looking okay. One second, guys. Oh my God, Vikings, what are you doing? Conscious, I haven't seen the colder getting Baton Rouge. Yeah, the 90s here. No, I mean, it was never supposed to reach that far south. That big cold blast we had kind of reached down like this. It got pretty close to the Gulf, but when the cold air gets close to you and doesn't reach to you, you usually have a big change in temperature. So you can be like well below average here and then really hot here because you have heat build up right out ahead of the trough. So if that cold air doesn't make it to you, you're usually above average actually. And now we have kind of a ridge Omega block type setup over the plains and east, and it's going to be hot for another couple weeks. But early October looks to bring a big cool down for a lot of people, like I said. The colder Pacific temps in the winter cause the jet stream to stay to the north. Yeah, typically that's what a La Nina. Yeah, that's what a La Nina is. If your waters get too warm here, you don't get a lot of convection, and without a convection, your jet stream really has nothing to hold on to. So it'll begin to wobble and move up north. That's why you typically see colder, snowier winters for the northern tier states in a La Nina. But a weak La Nina, you'll actually get that for almost all the states, colder temperatures on average, except for the southeast. Doesn't always work out that way though. We've had big snowstorms in the south before in a week, in the southeast before in a weak La Nina, when that's not what we typically see. But more often than not, yeah. Prove it, yeah. Am I safe on the Illinois side of St. Louis? You guys looking good over there? Yeah, there's a weird little storm moving to the southwest. I don't know what that thing is doing. You're not supposed to be moving that way. Weird. What software are you using? This is WeatherWise, and then Radar Omega, and then Windy. We're tracking our little disturbance out there in the tropical Atlantic. And then I use Weather Bell and Pivotal Weather. I use everything, basically. Not everything, but a lot. Too much. TKD, I appreciate the follow. Oh, crap. Yeah, right, I'm Cowboy. I definitely missed that one, Yali. Jeez. Definitely missed that one. Fast forward this here. Could we see your old house now? Yeah, should I dox what my old house was? Well, I'll tell you where my old house was. Wait. What the heck? It was right here. That's where my old house was, right there. It was not, listen, it wasn't a bad spot because I was a 52-minute train ride from New York City and then a 40-minute drive to Philly. So I was right between New York City and Philly, so it wasn't bad. It's kind of a cool spot. Yeah, right in there, Falls Township. Everyone is saying that there's a big similarities of the winter 2013, 2014 with positive MPO. Yeah, there is. Yeah, I've been talking about that. 2013, 2014 had a pretty warm NPO. Matt, I feel like I haven't talked to you in ages. It's probably been a week, but it feels like that. Oh, crap. Yali. Shout out, Yali. Yali, I appreciate that. I've got my DJ controller behind me from my DJ days back in the day. Appreciate you, Yali. Matt, how's everything going? Matt, are you bored out of your mind? We did get some naders today. I miss Papa. Yeah, dude, we need to get on the phone this week. Oh gosh, we're gonna have a stranglehold, or we're gonna be strangled by heat over the next 2 weeks still. I'm hating this jet stream. Hating it.
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Yeah, I mean, the Ninja, you're never gonna find a year that's perfect, that perfectly matches, but it's not like I have anything to do. Yeah. I had thought about just like ignoring my friend and doing severe coverage, but I was like, that's not very nice. Wait, why is my radar looking like this? Hold up 1 second. Gate filter. I'll put it back to 4. It's fine. Man. I want to do my 2-3 hour streams again, but like when there's nothing going on, I might as well get sleep. I'm gonna be waking up. My alarm's going off 5:40, 5:30 in the morning tomorrow for work. About 7.5 hours from now. Are the storms in Nebraska moving up into South Dakota tonight? Yeah, but they're losing steam. You're just gonna get mostly rain showers tonight. South Dakota. Not too worried. Yeah, that's how Charlotte is. Charlotte gets an inch of snow and it shuts down. That's how it was when I was there. Yeah, I agree, Tufts. I agree. I probably am going to get off. Not much going on. As of right now, chat, we do not have any severe weather tomorrow. We have general thunderstorms. I think we'll probably get at least a marginal somewhere out through here. Our disturbance out in the tropical Atlantic, still not doing much. You know, pokey stick mean, do something. I think we're good on that for a while. Still looks like it's going to be a fish storm. So, holy crap. Yali. Shout out Yali, the dinosaur. I always called that dinosaur a long neck growing up because of the Land Before Time. Isn't it called like a Bronchiosaurus or something? Tufts, I appreciate you. You can do the math that quick, Tufts. That's funny. Yeah, it's such boring weather. Again, though, you know, I think I'm so confident end of September, early October, that cold air is going to kind of be released. Our jet stream can only sit up through Canada for so long before it dives back down. I love you so much. Thanks, Pedro. But yeah, you know, I'll be back on tomorrow. I'll be back on at 9. We'll see if anything interesting happens. The thing I'm paying most attention to right now is the tropic stuff's too far away. There's not much severe weather-wise. What I'm paying attention to mostly right now is what's gonna happen with our jet stream and when like actual fall's gonna kick in, because it looks like that may not be until like the September 26th, 27th. Yeah. What Tough said, follow me so I can be a full-time weather streamer. I agree. But yeah, I'll need to put her down in South. What was that? What does that say? Down South Carolina? Oh, down the South. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit. It's gonna be a little bit, Dan. I'll usually tell you at least 10 days out if I'm confident in 10 days out cold weather, and it's just like, it's probably just on the cusp. It's just outside of 10 days. Yeah, I lived in Falls Township. Yeah. Bucks County, Lower Bucks. Yeah, I appreciate you again. Mods, you're awesome. Everyone get a good night's sleep. We've got the best day of the week tomorrow, Monday. And, you know, as much as I could talk all day about general thunderstorms and a quiet Atlantic and hot air, you know, it's probably better things to do. Don't worry. If you like weather, the weather's going to, it always gets a little fun once we get into fall severe season. Then we start getting, everyone starts wondering where the first snow is going to be, when the first snow is going to be in your area. And I did a winter weather, I did my winter weather outlook, what I think is going to happen. I'm going to do another one in October. Maybe end of September, early October. Another few weeks once we really see what our ENSO and all of our oscillations are looking like out there in the Pacific. I'll draw the meme tomorrow and then something will happen. I hate the Midwest. Not the Midwest itself, but the weather. It's so hard for me to freehand this. All right, I'll draw it before I get off. Let me see if I can remember exactly how it's like this. It's like this. It's like this. It's like this. Come on. Do something. Oh, did I poke Oklahoma again? I always end up poking Oklahoma by accident. It's just in such a convenient spot. Come on, weather. Do something. I always poke Oklahoma by accident. Should I give it 2 sticks and do one in Ohio too? Here. Do something. Here, one for Minnesota too. Do something. Uh-oh, you're all cursed now. You know what happens when my... Okay, I almost said something bad. You know what happens when my stick touches your state? Lots of sticks. This guy's like an octopus. All right, everyone, go to bed. It's past your bedtime. Past your bedtime. I'll see you all tomorrow. Oh, Lord. Love you guys. You're awesome. Peace.